Two new health cooperators from Cuba arrived in St. Kitts and Nevis this weekend to join the Medical Brigade that has been providing its services in the Federation for more than 2 decades. The new Cuban health professionals were received at the JNF General Hospital by Director of Health Institutions Dr. Jensen Morton and Medical Chief of Staff Dr. Davine Wilkin. They were also presented to the rest of the staff, who they started working with on Tuesday. Director Morton gave ZIZ News information on the newly acquired professionals and the roles they will play at the hospital.
The Ministry of Health, and in particular the institution-based health services of the Ministry of Health, they're being graced with the recent employment of 2 medical specialists in their own fields from Cuba via the Cuban Brigade and the Cuban ambassador to St. Kitts and Nevis. So we are now adding to our staff an endocrinologist in the form of Dr. Annette Cuellar. And an endocrinologist is a doctor that specializes in the treatment of diabetes and hormonal disorders. The other member of the brigade is Nurse Yaniel Martinez Vargas, and he is a nurse specialist in anesthesiology, so he's an anesthetic nurse. So the nurse anesthesiologist will help us tremendously with regards to our cases in the operating theater, to be a part of the anesthesia team.
Dr. Morton expressed gratitude to Cuba for their contributions to the success of healthcare in the country.
The Cuban Brigade and the Cuban ambassador, they have been very receptive to our requests for medical assistance, both with regards to long-term plans that we have for the development of the healthcare system in St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as even in cases of needing a professional urgently/emergently. This most recent addition is once again very much appreciated, and we're hoping to continue this relationship that we have with the government of Cuba, the Cuban Embassy, and the Cuban Brigade, and we are very much grateful. The Cuban ambassador, who is Mr. David Perez, and the head of the Cuban Medical Brigade, that's the epidemiologist here, that's Dr. Odalis Guerrero. We are very grateful for their continued efforts, and we hope to continue this relationship that we have built over all these years.
They were received last Saturday at the Robert L. Bratcher International Airport by the Ambassador of Cuba, David Rivero Perez, and the head of the Cuban Medical Brigade. With these new additions, there are 16 Cuban health professionals at the JNF General Hospital.